Yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. Today, we're talking about brokenness. I'm gonna keep it real here. But first things first, if you are new to me and my channel and watching me, welcome. My name is Keisha, and I help people adjust to life after the move and all the things that come with moving, because there's a lot. So, and one of those things is brokenness. Sometimes we can feel broken after a move or a big, huge life transition. So let's talk about what God says about brokenness, especially with like the holidays coming up. Like I feel like it's an appropriate time to be talking about this, because sometimes when other people are like super excited and having a great time and you feel broken, it can like just magnify. It feels like it's putting a magnifying glass on it, because we're feeling broken and seeing rejoicing. It's or seeing like super excitement, and like it's just a very just weird place to be. So let's talk about it. Okay, so some things that God says about brokenness is in Psalms 34:18. It says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." I think He's close. He's close to us all the time, but when we are broken, like my image that I get is a dad who sees his kid crying in the corner or crying someplace, like who is broken in their spirit, right? Scooping them up, pulling them on their lap, and hugging them and making sure that they're okay, right? That comfort. So the Lord is close because He's referred to as Father. So that's the image I get. Another one that is near and dear to my heart is Philippians 4:6-7. "Do not be anxious about anything, but with everything, with prayer and petition, give thanksgiving and present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." So it's saying that with everything, with your brokenness, present it to God. With thanksgiving, like there's still things to be thankful for, even in our brokenness. And God will guard your heart and your mind with peace. This one is very near and dear to my heart, because 4 years ago, our kiddo, when our youngest had RSV, and he started like moaning with every breath. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to bring him in. My friend was like, you need to bring him in now. So like, okay. And then we spent hours in the emergency room, and and they didn't quite know what was going on, because they took some blood tests, and he's like an infant. He's little, like, I don't know, 6 weeks old, maybe. I don't know. He's little. I'm not sure how old he is, but I think he's older than 6 weeks. But anyways, then like some of his blood work started changing, and they're like, what's going on? And he was developing pneumonia while we're in the ER, and he had already had RSV, and we got, eventually after like hours and hours at the ER, we got checked in, and it was days of me holding my child with oxygen on and bouncing him, because I could not lay him down. He couldn't lay flat because his oxygen levels would drop. The alarms on the things would start going off. Nurses would rush in because like his levels were too low. And so in order to keep his levels up and not have things like coat the lungs, so I was like bouncing him and patting his back. And like that's what would help to get those oxygen levels up for him. And it was such a scary time to see my kid like in that kind of position, right? So where you're like, oh my gosh, like if you can't breathe, like that's a big thing. And to be able to say that prayer and to just say these verses in my head, because at one time I was like, God, if you are going to take him take him now because I cannot see him suffering. And that's like such a hard prayer to pray as a parent. Super hard. But I was like, Lord, you are in control. And if like, I'm just going to trust you that things are going to go good. But the anxiety and like the brokenness of that situation, I just thought about that and that verse, and I wrote it down and I prayed on it, and I felt like God, his peace came in a time where it's not reasonable to have peace. I feel like I'm crying. I'm trying not to cry. But it did. It came and it guarded my heart and my mind. And so if you're feeling brokenness, and like, know that even though you may be in a broken situation, that God can give you peace in a place where by ourselves we would not have peace. Okay. The next verse is Matthew 11:28. It says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." So the last verse said he'll give you peace for your heart and your mind. And this verse says that he will give you rest. In this busy season, I feel like we all need rest. So, Psalms 46:1 says, "God is our refuge and our strength and an ever-present help in trouble." Brokenness and trouble, I feel like, go hand in hand. But how many times do we feel brokenness and feel completely alone? I think it's more often that we are feeling alone in our brokenness than alone in joy. Right? But God, like, saying, like, hey, I am here with you, and so ever present here with you, but also helping, right? I'm ever present help in your trouble. Just, whew, I need the help. So, Psalms 71:20 says, "Though you have made me see troubles," they're talking to God, "many and bitter, you restore my life again from the depths of the earth and bring me up." We have all seen struggles of the world, and sometimes the struggles are broadcasted on news and we see bitter and yucky things. And when they happen in our life, it feels like our life is just like wow, like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. But that verse says that he will bring you up again. Even if it feels like you can't be brought up. That's like, isn't that good that we don't have to bring ourselves up again? Because sometimes in the middle of brokenness or the aftermath of a breaking situation, we don't have the strength to bring ourselves up again. It says he will bring us up again. Psalms 147:3 says he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Oh, it's a nice one. I like it. Just like going to a father for your wounds, like an earthly father, to have him, bandage it or put a Band-Aid on it and give a hug. It's kind of the same thing, right? But earthly fathers can't heal it. Or dads protect it, and as parents, we help them in the healing process. But God can heal wounds. And then the last one today is, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit." So we all have our different interpretations of the Bible, because I feel like it talks differently to whoever is reading it. But in this saying, or in this verse, it's John 12:24. I feel like when I read this, I think of my temptation to show up perfectly, or my temptation to look like I have it all together, my temptation to hide the broken parts of me. But if I let that go, if I let my image of perfection go, then it bears much fruit. Okay. because then other people realize like, hey, I'm not alone in my struggles either, right? Because we're being open and honest about our struggles and about our brokenness. And good comes from that, from sharing our brokenness and being open about not being okay right now. It's good. It's good stuff. So last thing I wanted to share with you is in Asia, they restore pottery with like where it's cracked with gold. And then people see it as like more valuable. And the brokenness of the pottery is outlined. And when I first heard of that like 10 years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, this is good. And so from then on, I've been picturing my life as this vase, like a big, huge flower vase. It's pottery and all of my brokenness and the ways that I don't measure up and the things that I want and don't happen, and like everywhere that I am broken in my personality, in the thing, like just everything, all like those are all lines and cracks down my big life face. So this vase is cracked all over. It's still together, okay? But my brokenness is showing on my pottery. And inside my vase is a big old bright light, okay? So when you put my vase in a dark area, you will see light through all of the different cracks, all of the brokenness. So the light of Jesus shines through my brokenness. And if people, or if I just show the parts of my vase that are perfect, that light won't shine through, right? It's like God shines through our brokenness, because honestly, like where we're broken, we can't do it on our own. But that's where God can. He can do it, and he can strengthen us, and he can walk us through hard situations and help us to overcome, right? So I like to, I don't know, picture myself as a broken vase. And when I show my brokenness, other people say, oh my gosh, like that vase has brokenness, has some broken cracks on it, and it's shining. My vase that's cracked can shine too, because we all have brokenness. It's whether or not we are honest and show it to the world, right? So I figured like this image has been so helpful to me that it might be helpful to you. If you are feeling broken, it's okay. It's normal to feel broken, but know that God can shine through your brokenness, and he can do really amazing things with broken people, because he chooses people who are broken. Like usually in the Bible, like when he asks someone to do something, it's in a place where they are broken, where they're not enough, where they can't do it. Because that just shows who God is. God, where we can't do it, where we can't measure up, where we are not enough, God is. And he brings us to that point, right? He is our strength. So just figured if you want to picture your space or your life as a big vase with lots of cracks in it and light shining through, I hope it's helpful. You can definitely join me in picturing your life as a vase. So, but yeah, just friends, I hope you shine out of your brokenness today and choose to have a great day. I will talk to you later. Bye.